Now we're going to talk about two different drawing modes called merge drawing and object drawing. If you're following along, I'm in 08_merge_object.fla in the Chapter 3 folder in the exercise files folder. First, let's talk about merge drawing. Merge drawing is Flash's default drawing mode, and the drawing mode that we've been working in up to this point. However, we haven't really talked that much about what merge drawing is. Merge drawing, as its name implies, merges shapes together when they're put on top of each other in the same layer. Let's take a look at that. On the stage, let's choose the selection tool. What I'm going to do is connect the robot's neck to the robot's body. So with the selection tool selected, let's double-click the fill of the robot's neck to select both the stroke and the fill, and then click again and drag down and move the robot's neck on top of its body. And now what I'm going to do is deselect everything on the stage by clicking in the gray area off the stage. Now what I'm going to do is press Z on my keyboard and then zoom in by clicking and dragging around the robot's neck. I'm going to kind of erase some of the extra stroke that's in the way. Let's go to the selection tool, or you can press V on your keyboard, click the bottom edge of the robot's neck, then press delete on your keyboard to delete it. Once you've done that, you can zoom out by pressing Control on the PC or Command on the Mac and 2 on your keyboard. So now we've connected the robot's neck to the robot's head. If I double-click inside where the robot's neck was, notice that I select the robot's neck and the robot's body. They've become one shape. Now that's pretty neat, but sometimes you don't want shapes to merge together. Let me show an example of that. I'm going to deselect everything by clicking in the gray area off the stage. Then I'm going to double-click the robot's mouth. With the robot's mouth selected, I'm going to click it again and drag the robot's mouth over its neck. Let's say I just wanted to see what it looked like if the robot's mouth was connected to its neck. Now what I'm going to do is click in the gray area off the stage to deselect the robot's mouth. Now let's say I tried it out, I saw how it looked, and I didn't like it too much, so I want to move the robot's mouth back. So now if I double-click the fill inside the robot's mouth and try to move the mouth, notice that the stroke that was on top of the robot's neck is now missing. That's because the robot's mouth merged with the robot's body and neck. Then when I move the robot's mouth away, it cut away from the robot's neck. Now because I don't want that to happen, I'm going to press Command Z or Control Z on the PC a few times and back up a little bit till before I put the robot's mouth over the robot's neck. I'm going to deselect everything by clicking in the gray area off the stage. So how do I prevent objects from overlapping? If you're using merge drawing mode, you'll have to create separate layers for the objects. We'll talk about creating layers a little bit later on. The other option is to use something called object drawing. Object drawing creates shapes that are sort of in groups, but they're still editable as shapes. Let's show an example of that by redrawing the robot's hand on the left side of the stage. So I'm going to double-click the fill for the robot's hand. I'm going to press Delete or Backspace on my keyboard to delete the robot's hand. I'm going to choose the oval tool in the toolbar. Remember that's under the flyout menu with the rectangle tool and the polystar tool. In the toolbar I'm going to choose a black stroke. I'm going to keep that red fill that I already have selected. If you want to make sure that it's the same fill that's in the robot, you can click the color picker in the toolbar or in the property inspector. Place your mouse over the red color that you want to copy, and then click, and that color will be selected. And then what we're going to do is turn on object drawing. That's the button I told you to turn off when we started drawing. It's at the bottom of the toolbar, and it looks like a box with a circle inside of it. So click that button, make sure it's selected. It should have somewhat of a contrast with the background of the toolbar. And then click and drag where the old hand was and draw a new hand for the robot. Notice it has a rectangle around it showing that it's selected. In the property inspector, you can see that it says Drawing Object. Notice also in the property inspector that you could still modify the object's stroke and fill. So if I wanted to change the fill color, I could click the fill color picker and choose a different color, say green for example, and the robot's hand turns green. I'm going to press Command Z or Control Z on the PC to go back. And now we'll move the robot's hand over the robot's body. So I'm going to select the robot's hand, put it somewhere over the robot's body. And then what I'm going to do is deselect everything by clicking the gray area off the stage. And now I'm going to click the robot's hand again, and then move it back to where it was. And notice it didn't cut away into the robot's body. Now that you understand what merge drawing is and what object drawing is, which one do you use? To be honest, it's actually a matter of personal preference. Some people are much more comfortable with merge drawing, and others are more comfortable using object drawing. If you're used to creating a bunch of different artwork on one layer and only merging objects when you want to merge them, kind of like how Adobe Illustrator works, you might want to use object drawing. If you prefer organizing your documents into separate layers, and you like the flexibility of being able to merge objects if you want to, well, there's a look at how to use merge drawing and object drawing.